What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Undertaker seemingly announcing his retirement, Roman Reigns had different plans at WrestleMania 33, hashtag SpeakingOut update, WWE treating its audience better, Rey Mysterio doesn't want to lose to one opponent, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Let's hit the intro and get straight into the news. Now our first story looks at The Undertaker seemingly announcing his retirement. Now the Final Ride docu-series has been documenting The Undertaker's past 3 or 4 years in the ring. However, in the 5th and final episode, our predictions have unfortunately come true and Taker has seemingly announced his retirement from the ring. Taker noted that he is at peace with his career. He mentioned, "At this point in my career, I have no desire to get back in the ring. I'm at a point it's time this cowboy really rides away. There's really nothing left for me to conquer or accomplish. The game has changed. It's time for new guys to come up. The time just seems right." This documentary has helped me discover that and opened my eyes to a bigger picture and not judge myself as harshly as these last few years. This is an incredibly sad moment, as we've seen The Undertaker in the ring for many years, myself personally since 1995. He was one of those superstars that just shocked me in every way. To see him go along through this journey in the WWE, it's sad to see that he's gonna hang up his boots for good. However, if he did actually have one more match left in him, who would it be against? Let us know in the comments down below, and let us know your opinions and your feelings on The Undertaker seemingly retiring. Whilst we're on the subject of The Undertaker, Roman Reigns wanted to do things different at WrestleMania 33. WrestleMania 33 featured Roman Reigns battling The Undertaker in the main event that saw the big dog go over the Phenom. Reigns recently spoke with ESPN about how he learned about the match and the finish he wanted. I remember the conversation with Vince. I saw Taker like a week prior and he almost gave it away, but he did good in covering it up. He couldn't tell I didn't know yet. When Vince explained to me, I was just in awe. It's something that everybody who gets into the business wants, to get in the ring with The Undertaker. And I remember the first thing I thought was that I wanted to put him over. I wanted to lose. Immediately that was my instinct, out of respect. It was a difficult situation for Roman as he was unaware of the full extent of The Undertaker's physical condition. I knew he was in pain, but I didn't know he was going for his hip surgery soon after that, or else I would have crafted the storyline a little differently. So I knew it was on me to try and help carry it, the movement of the match, orbit around him. But I thought it would have been a better story if I was on my back at the end. Obviously it didn't go that way. While Roman Reigns' match against The Undertaker was a dream come true for him, it turned into a nightmare for Taker as he felt it was one of his worst performances ever. That is until he faced Goldberg at 2019 Super Showdown. Ironically, Reigns would help Taker redeem his image when the two teamed up at the 2019's Extreme Rules event. Again, whilst we're on the subject of The Undertaker, he also revealed something very upsetting in the final episode. He spoke on his brother Tim passing away just the day before he did the Boneyard match filming. Now, to do a match with the main goal of burying your opponent, it would have been extremely tough for The Undertaker to film. But then again, it just shows how committed The Undertaker was to his WWE career. I'd imagine he didn't want to let Vince down either. I'm sure whatever his decision was, it was out of respect. Next up, the hashtag SpeakingOut update. Now more names continue to be named as women accuse men in the wrestling industry of misconduct. Another person being accused is former WWE ring announcer and current AEW announcer Justin Roberts. The person making these allegations posted screenshots of messages between her and Justin Roberts. Again, we'll continue to follow this story as more information is revealed. Perhaps we may even get a statement from AEW, just like they did with Jimmy Havoc. But Pete Dunne says to fans, don't give up on British wrestling. Now the Speak Out movement has raised many allegations about possible misconduct and malicious acts against male and predominantly female wrestlers in the business, with the accusations beginning in the UK and spreading to the US. Former NXT UK champion Pete Dunne is asking fans to not turn their backs on wrestling, tweeting, "I've thought about a post like this several times over the last 2 days, but honestly it's up to us within the industry to make changes and prove to ourselves that we can hold people to the most basic of standards. There will be plenty of you that turn away and quite frankly, I felt like it too. But with everyone that has reached out about making change, I hope that eventually we earn the trust back and we can reinstate people's former love for BritWres." Now, have these allegations made you want to stop watching wrestling in the UK? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, is WWE treating its audience better? No, we aren't talking about the WWE putting on more entertaining episodes of Raw and SmackDown lately, although we're thankful for those too, but the way the WWE has been treating the people watching its shows at the Performance Center. You no doubt heard of the stories of NXT and Performance Center wrestlers being stuck for hours on end with no extra pay or food provided for them. However, now that the WWE has brought in wrestlers' friends and families, as well as actual fans if the rumors are true, it appears the promotion is actually spending a few bucks to make things better. Consider this report from Ringside News. The conditions have changed for those who attend WWE live events. The previous situation called for long stretches on their feet and no air conditioning in the tents outside. Now they have air conditioning in their tents outside and they even get chairs to sit in during breaks, though the more recent sets have been much easier to work. WWE has also brought in food trucks, added coolers for energy drinks. Now this is a great turnaround given the way the WWE was treating its wrestlers and talent. According to the report, the catering has helped local businesses, as one of the catering shops actually told a person in attendance if WWE didn't use them so often throughout this process, they would have had to furlough some of their employees. If the WWE starts protecting its audience and wrestlers from the disease driving the pandemic, people actually might think there are real human beings running the shows. Next up, Wade Barrett talks NXT UK hurting British wrestling. Now, Stu Bennett, who performed in the WWE as Wade Barrett, is familiar with the British wrestling scene and talked about it during an interview with 411 Mania. When asked about how the WWE's NXT UK has affected indie wrestling in the UK, he answered, "I would say it's helped the wrestlers who have been signed, but outside of that, I don't think it's beneficial. You'd have to look at the effect it's had on some of the companies or some of the independents. The independent companies who were thriving prior to that versus now." Bennett, who has been promoting his new film I Am Vengeance Retaliation, spoke frankly about how he perceives NXT UK. "So I don't think it's been beneficial to the scene at all. I understand why WWE have done it, they want to have a stakeholder there. It was not coincidental that NXT UK was brought out at the same time that WOS, World of Sport, which at the time was seen as a threat to WWE over in the UK. It wasn't coincidental, however it's been portrayed by them and I think we all know the truth behind that. I'm not casting them for doing that, but to portray it as beneficial to the UK as something benevolent is ludicrous. And as good as the product might be, it's certainly not something that's helped the UK independent scene." Bennett isn't the first person to criticise the WWE's move, and with rumours flying around that NXT UK might fall due to the ongoing health crisis, there's no telling how the overall wrestling scene in the UK will fare. Next up, Rey Mysterio doesn't want to lose to this opponent. And there's no doubt that Rey Mysterio's in-ring career is winding down, and while Rey hasn't discussed any type of timeline for his squared circle swan song, he does know who he wants to lose to. Mysterio appeared on the Rock Around the Ring and discussed he's opposed to facing his son Dominic in his last match. That's something that I would hate. I would hate to walk out and have my son take over on my last match. I think the torch has already been passed and will eventually again the day that we got to share a ring together and perform in front of fans. That's when the torch will be passed on to him. Could the WWE already be setting things up for a Rey vs Dominic retirement match? You may recall rumours hearing that Dominic may be joining Seth Rollins' cult at some point in the future. Is this a match you'd like to see for Rey's farewell? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Dustin Rhodes reveals the man behind the epic fail gimmick 7. Now, whether you're a long-time WCW fan or a WrestleCrap connoisseur, you've probably heard of Dustin Rhodes' short-lived character 7. Rhodes was working in WCW at the time and began appearing in some creep-tastic vignettes. A snippet from a 2017 pop culture article on the 7 character sums things up nicely. Enter 7, a poor man's hybrid of Goldust, The Undertaker, Sting, and the villains from the recent sci-fi film Dark City. He was built up as a fantasy character, shown in vignettes to be a mystical entity with supernatural powers. These vignettes tease the character's impending arrival, with Rhodes appearing in full makeup, standing ominously in the rain outside of a child's bedroom window. A wrestling legend has it that TNT's Standards and Practices Department, aka Censors, were thrilled with the concept, so WCW axed the character, with Dustin appearing in character only to announce it as the latest stupid gimmick he's been stuck with. However, in a recent tweet, Dustin revealed the idea for 7 was all his. Rhodes tweeted, "No, my creation and I loved it. Russo put the kibosh on it. Another wrestling mystery solved, and if you like wrestling mysteries, be sure to check out our recent videos covering a number of wrestling mysteries that have puzzled fans throughout the years. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.